City Council. This is a special meeting. It's October 15th. We are here to accept the mayor's 2026 budget. I would ask that we all join together in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Keel, Councilmember Brosnan,
Present.
Councilmember Spain McLaren,
Present.
Councilmember Vera,
Present.
Councilmember Soriento, Councilmember Casey,
Present.
Council President Steele.
Present.
5 are present, 2 are absent.
At this time, we have the public forum. Anyone who wishes to speak on the mayor's budget is welcome to come forward at this time and address the council. Oh, shoot. Okay. Once again, does anyone wish to address the council? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on. Resolution 105.
Resolution 105, resolution acknowledging receipt of the mayor's 2026 recommended city budget and setting the dates for the public hearings on the proposed budget's estimates for 2026. Councilmember Casey at the request of the administration.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Councilmember Brosnan, second.
Second.
Councilmember Vera. Discussion on the resolution. Mayor, will you be making a presentation during discussion now or later? Okay. All right. Does anyone here have any comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
5 ayes, 2 absent. Right? Resolution passed. Resolution 105.
5-0. 5-0.
5-0, okay. Resolution 105 passes.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
Motion.
We'll give it to Councilman Vera and second by Councilman Brosnan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Good meeting.
It's a
Everybody ready? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Troy City Council budget hearings. We are this evening, this is the Finance Committee, and we are here to review several departments of the mayor's budget. I'd ask the mayor and administration to please come forward. Do you have a general statement that you want to provide, or do we want to just jump right into this?
Good evening. Whoa. I'm going to give a statement prior. I want to introduce some of our administration here. As you know, our Deputy Mayor, Seamus Donnelly, our Comptroller, Mike McNabb, our Finance Director, Treasurer, Gabrielle Mahoney, our General Services is back there, Joe Mazzarello. And once again, as you're all aware, the budget was delivered on Friday in time. And I do want to commend the folks next to me who worked tirelessly to have that budget delivered. This budget, as many of you know, under the tax cap rolls back the garbage tax that we call the garbage fee. And if you will so indulge me, I'd like to read a statement that I think encompasses everything. And I don't know where my glasses went. Oh, yes. Hey. It's terrible. I need reading glasses, but they're not cheaters. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you. All right. Good evening. All right. Good evening, City Council President Steele, distinguished members of the Troy City Council. Since taking office in January of 2024, my administration has worked relentlessly to deliver results with limited resources, ensuring that every taxpayer dollar is used efficiently, responsibly, and strategically. Additionally, we're thinking different and out of the box. We need to do that obviously with rising cost in healthcare, pension, and we've taken on fewer liabilities while directly confronting our city's most pressing issue. Through sound fiscal management, we've maintained a balanced budget, we've protected our strong credit rating, and we've invested in the long-term strength and resilience of our city. Troy is experiencing extraordinary resurgence. Over the past year and 10 months, we've seen significant progress across every neighborhood. Our neighborhoods have never been safer. Our statistics are showing more guns off the street, less violent crime, and less illegal activity. Our neighborhoods also are cleaner. Our city government is more responsive and effective than ever before. When I took the oath of office, I made a promise to work every single day to improve the quality of life for every person who calls Troy home. And this proposed 2026 budget builds on that promise. Fiscal responsibility, a foundation. Like most municipalities across New York State, Troy continues to face unrelenting cost pressures driven by, like I said, rising healthcare premiums, pension obligations, materials, equipment continues to rise. Despite these national and statewide trends, our city remains strong. After many months of careful planning and collaboration, I'm proud to present this 2026 budget that holds the line on spending enhances city services, and stays well below the state tax cap. By preserving Troy's financial stability and strong credit standing with a proposed 2.29 tax rate expansion for a homeowner with a property assessed at $150K, this represents an increase of $4.64 per month. I cannot thank Seamus Donnelly, I am not kidding, Mike McNiff, Gabrielle, Rick Morrissey, Joe Maz, Alex Horton, and the people literally who have been grinding it out every day, because this, as you can tell, other munis have double-digit tax increase proposals. We don't here in Troy, because we are thinking differently, we're thinking smarter, we're thinking more efficiently. This proposed budget continues that commitment to responsible government and long-term stability. Our financial discipline has enabled us to take on major infrastructure projects, modernizing our city systems, investing in public safety, recreation, housing, and workforce development, all without sacrificing our financial strength. Delivering on our promises, reducing the garbage fee, AKA tax. When I ran for office, I pledged to develop a plan to reduce the garbage fee, a temporary tax on our residents that has burdened households for far too long. In 2017, as council president, I was here and I adamantly opposed this fee. The fee was $160 per unit, a temporary tax. Today, it stands at $254 per unit. I am proud to announce that in 2026, we kept it. In 2025, we kept it flat. For the first time in 2026, we are proposing, and I hope the council supports, to reduce the fee by $25 per unit, bringing it down to $229. This is just the first of the rollback. This marks a major accomplishment for our administration and the hardworking taxpayers and residents of our city. This reduction demonstrates that when we manage our finances wisely, we can deliver real, tangible relief for the residents, the taxpayers of our city. In addition, our budget includes, for the first time in literally over 12 years, free annual one at-home bulk pickup service for households with city sanitation. As well, we'll continue the quarterly free bulk drop-offs at the Alamo. These initiatives not only reduce costs for residents, but also continues to support our Safer and Cleaner Troy initiative. The rollback is going to be the beginning to compete with the private sector. That's the whole idea here. Investing in parks, recreation, and neighborhood assets. Our administration continues to prioritize investment in public spaces, recognizing that vibrant parks and recreation areas strengthen our neighborhoods, foster community engagement, and improve the overall quality of life for residents of all ages. Well-maintained parks provide safe spaces for children to play, families to gather, and neighbors to reconnect, while also enhancing property values and contributing to the cultural and recreational fabric of Troy. At Prospect Park, we've successfully completed Phase 1 of our master plan, which included the installation of new tennis and pickleball courts, fully accessible playground equipment, and safety surfacing. These upgrades have met with enthusiastic community response as residents increasingly use the park for both organized sports and casual recreation. In 2026, we will continue advancing the master plan through public engagement, completing the remaining tennis courts, enhancing trail access for walkers and runners. We'll connect the trail to our neighborhoods, Little Italy, Beaman Park area, and adding additional amenities to ensure Prospect Park remains a destination for residents of all ages. And I meant Mount Ida, sorry. At Kinloch Park, historically underutilized and in need of infrastructure improvements, will soon see the completion of critical drainage repairs, and the repaving of its basketball courts. That will happen in 2025. These improvements address longstanding maintenance issues while creating safe, attractive spaces for youth sports and community activities. In 2026, Kinloch Park will receive a brand new accessible playground, making it a fully inclusive space for children of all abilities and further reinforcing our commitment to equitable recreational opportunities. At Freer Park, our master plan has begun with the introduction of a temporary restaurant near the pond, God bless you, allowing not just for golfers, but all residents to enjoy meals and refreshments while visiting the park. In 2026, Freer Park will see the next phase of improvements, including a new all-inclusive accessible playground, enhanced landscaping, and upgraded trail access at both the playground locations within Freer Park. These enhancements will create a more welcoming environment for families, hikers, community members looking to enjoy nature and leisure activities in a safe and modern setting. Also, we will be having a neighborhood meeting by the end of the year for the two parks in Freer Park. At Knickerbocker Park, it's undergoing an incredible transformation, turning a long neglected asset into a true community centerpiece. The reopening of the ice rink, supported by Steve McLaughlin and the county legislature, brought in over $140,000 in revenue in 2025 after nearly a decade of closure, providing a safe and enjoyable activity for children and families year-round. Additionally, construction is underway. If you haven't been out there, the Nick Aquatic Center, it's really underway. It's moving forward quickly, featuring an 8-lane Olympic-sized swimming pool, splash pads, chaise lounges, and a modern pool house in the summer of 2026, offering recreational opportunities for residents across the city. These investments are more than facility upgrades. They're part of our long-term strategy for community building, public engagement, and asset preservation. By modernizing our parks, we are creating safe, accessible, and enjoyable spaces that bring residents together, support healthy lifestyles, and strengthen Troy's identity as a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Troy's infrastructure. Through our annual infrastructure improvement plan, our administration has made historic progress in revitalizing Troy's roadways and alleyways that haven't been paved in decades, ensuring that residents, businesses, and visitors can navigate the city safely, efficiently, and more accessible. By prioritizing strategic repairs and long-term improvements, we're not only addressing immediate maintenance needs, but we're also investing in the city's future economic vitality and quality of life. Major gateways, including Pinewoods, Campbell's Ave, Spring Ave, Burden Ave, Oakwood Ave, portions of 2nd and 5th Ave, several alleyways have been fully milled and paved, restoring critical transportation routes that supports our daily commutes, local businesses, and emergency response services. These upgrades reduce vehicle damage, improve safety, and enhance accessibility for pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists alike. We're currently completing work on Congress. I believe Friday they're going to be starting the paving, correct? Or Monday, sorry. Yep, Monday. Early next week, weather permitting. Thank you, Seamus. Obviously, it's one of Troy's important gateways and a primary route for commerce and tourism. In 2026, we've revitalized the Congress and Ferry Street Corridor project, a transformative initiative designed to enhance mobility, accessibility, and economic development in the heart of the city. This project features a redesigned travel lanes all throughout, connecting South Troy neighborhood to the downtown neighborhood. So that whole gateway with the tunnel is going to be transformed. Additionally, expanded parking, dedicated bike lanes, upgraded pedestrian infrastructure, creating a safer, more modern corridor that benefits all users. On that note, I met with the Sage president today. There's a lot happening at the Sage campus. It all connects to connecting South Troy to the downtown, utilizing that gateway. The president could not be more excited. A key component of this project is the Ferry Street Tunnel, which will receive critical upgrades, including comprehensive waterproofing, new lighting, and noise reduction improvements. If anyone's traveled through the tunnel, we all know the icicles that hang throughout the winter. These enhancements address decades of deterioration, making the tunnel safer, more inviting, and accessible for both cyclists and pedestrians. You should also know we did receive word from DOT just in the past couple days that Congress Street, both Waterbury and Troy side, will be seeing upgraded repairs all throughout that bridge. So stay tuned on that front. Very quickly in 2020, you did not, Alex. You have my message. Apologize. Public safety, protecting Troy and strengthening response. Public safety remains the cornerstone of my administration. Since taking office, we prioritize equipping our police and fire departments with the resources, the technology, and personnel necessary to ensure every resident feels safe in their neighborhoods. Through Operation Sentinel, in conjunction with other initiatives like GIVE and other initiatives, the Troy Police Department has removed 123 illegal firearms from our streets, a 112% increase over the previous year, and confiscated over 25,000 grams of illegal drugs, resulting in more than 100 arrests. I want to thank our TPD. They're amazing. This operation has had a measurable impact on reducing violent crime and improving the overall sense of security in our community and in our neighborhoods. And this also goes hand in hand with working with our neighborhood organizations like Little Italy, Lansingburg Neighborhood, and others, Osgood. They've been great partners doing this. To strengthen our visible presence and accessibility, we've expanded walk-in beats in the downtown and high traffic areas, particularly near businesses, schools, and outdoor dining districts. Feedback from local businesses and residents have been overwhelmingly positive, reinforcing that a strong police presence fosters confidence, reduces crime, and encourages community engagement. We've also upgraded our surveillance infrastructure, adding 16 new citywide cameras to strategically monitor high-need areas. We want to thank our Assemblymember McDonald, Senator Jay Gashby for being partners in that. These modern tools provide real-time intelligence to our officers, improve response time, and increases the effectiveness of investigations. Recognizing that well-trained officers save lives, protect the community, we've enhanced professional development and training programs. Increased funding in 2026 ensures that our officers receive advanced instruction in de-escalation, community policing, emergency response, and technology-driven crime prevention. At the same time, we've made critical improvements to officer compensation, raising the starting salaries by nearly $10,000. I want to thank the council for supporting that effort to attract and retain high-quality professionals committed to serving Troy. Our commitment to safety extends beyond personnel. We are investing in modernizing facilities to support our first responders. Long overdue upgrades to the 100-year-old State Street Police Headquarters and the 70-year-old police garage will address structural and operational deficiencies, extend the life of these historic buildings, and ensure that our officers have the facilities they need to serve effectively without expense of constructing entirely new buildings. The Troy Fire Department, unprecedented support through $60 million investment, demonstrating that fiscal responsibility as public safety goes hand in hand with a cleaner Troy. In 2026, residents are going to see a new state-of-the-art firehouse in Lansingburg, addition of a 24-hour ambulance service, and the procurement of new fire apparatus. Additionally, 4 new firefighters have been added to the force. Together, these strategic investments in personnel, training, technology, and facilities reflect our administration's commitment to safer Troy, where every resident has confidence in the city's ability to respond to emergencies, prevent crime, maintain public order. Public safety is not an option. It's a fundamental responsibility. In 2026 proposed budget reflects that unwavering dedication to protecting our community. A safer, cleaner, and lead-free Troy, our quality of life action crews have been transformative in improving neighborhood cleanliness, addressing blight, and maintaining city streets. Their targeted efforts have not only removed litter and debris from public spaces, but have also strengthened community pride and fostered a sense of shared responsibility among residents. These crews respond quickly to our neighborhoods. Cleaner and Greener Troy, investing in sustainability, Troy's geothermal emergent energy project, a major step forward for sustainability and cleaner energy. This innovative system captures thermal energy and redistributes it to downtown businesses, nonprofits, and residents, reducing carbon emissions and utility costs. Troy's leadership in renewable energy continues our commitment to a cleaner, greener future. Economic growth and recreation, our Fair Park Municipal Course continues to be one of the city's most valuable recreational and revenue generating assets, with its scenic grounds, accessible facilities, and high quality amenities. The course attracts golfers from across the region while providing a welcoming space for families, beginners, and avid players alike. In 2025, golf cart rentals alone generated over $300K in revenue, demonstrating the course's strong financial contribution to the city. Beyond local impact, golf contributes nearly $13 billion annually to New York State's economy, and in Troy, the sport supports both tourism and community recreation, providing residents with that meaningful outdoor leisure opportunity while attracting visitors. Our commitment to leveraging city-owned assets for economic benefit extends to the Troy Marina, which we successfully returned to full municipal control in 2025. Before that, it was under private sector, a private sector firm, and the city took it under, as you know, last year. This change ensures that all revenues from docking, fuel sales, and related services remain in Troy, providing a direct financial benefit to our taxpayers. The marina is a key component of our waterfront development strategy, serving as a gateway for visitors and a catalyst for downtown economic activity. In addition, we continue our second to none waterfront development with our growing partnership with American Cruise Lines that have brought hundreds of new visitors to downtown Troy. Port to port, if we're a port of call now, Troy to Manhattan, Manhattan to Troy. By investing in both recreational amenities and strategic waterfront management, we're strengthening the city's economic base, enhancing quality of life, and promoting Troy as a premier destination in the region and the state. Looking ahead, we'll continue to explore opportunities to expand programming, improve facilities, maximize revenue potential from both Freer Park and the Troy Marina, ensuring that these assets remain central to our vision for a thriving, economically vibrant, and welcoming city and waterfront. Some major projects on the horizon. By the end of 2026, all the ARPA projects will be completed, strengthening our public facilities, our parks, and infrastructure citywide. Next year's capital plan will include the redevelopment of One Monument Square, ending the decades of futility and lost opportunity that has plagued this site. And finally, we're moving forward with a permanent home for Troy City Hall at Proctor's Theater. For too long, taxpayers have shouldered a $760,000 annual lease for temporary offices at 433 River here. This move, with creative utilization of the Troy LDC using tax-exempt bonding, will immediately reduce annual costs by approximately $100,000. This will also, and more importantly, provide accessibility, permanency, and civic pride, and will not raise taxes. This project represents smart, long-term fiscal planning at its finest. Once again, Shane, thank you for spearheading that effort. As we continue to build on our momentum, I'm incredibly proud of the progress we've achieved. I want to thank our quality of life action crews. They're amazing. Our employees, the folks around me, Seamus, Mike, Gabrielle, Rick Morrissey, Joe Maz, Chris Marini, Alex Horton, and our dedicated city workforce. Their daily commitment ensures Troy remains safe, clean, and strong. This administration remains steadfast in its mission of long-term growth, fiscal responsibility, and the continued investment in our assets and our people. Together, we'll continue ushering Troy through this resurgence, one built on pride, possibility, and a shared promise. Thank you for your continued partnership. Thank you as we build Troy's future stronger, cleaner, and more vibrant than ever before. I do hope as we move forward with these committee meetings, continue to obviously ask questions. You are going to see that this budget is sound. This budget builds on our budget from last year and continues building a safer, cleaner Troy. There were a couple areas, housing, code enforcement, and others. We'll get to that when we get to the committee meetings. But once again, we're doing a lot here in Troy. It's an everyday grind. I cannot say enough about our workforce. We're doing more with less. And I know that people sometimes hate hearing that, but we are. And it's because of the commitment, the dedication by these folks and the workforce out there. Additionally, you are going to see that this budget builds a bench. We haven't had that here in the city of Troy for a long time. You know, the comptroller's office, which we're going to dive into right now. Once the comptroller left, we didn't have anyone that could pick up what the comptroller knew. By changing our archaic KVS system from the 1980s. We are transitioning, as you know, to Tyler technology, changing that antiquated system, building a bench in the comptroller's office, and building a bench in the other departments is key as we move forward for that foundation that needs to be built for future generations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll hand it over to Mike. We'll dive right into
Well,
the,
I
Mhm.
wondered, are you prepared to discuss the revenues at this time?
sure, the ones that affect the comptrollers, the
We're only going
others.
to,
Mhm.
I was suggesting that we go through the summary of revenues in the beginning of the budget?
We can do that, but however, just like last year, we asked, like, for instance, code enforcement, public safety, those revenues be discussed with those departments because we'll have staff, department heads, the golf. We do that in general services. So this evening, we'll hit the ones that are the generic, the big picture. We honestly, we've done that for the past 9 years. I would ask that, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I'd like to begin with the general revenues. please.
Perfect. Yep.
Thank you.
The local sources.
Start.
Start with the local. Do you want to begin with the summary of general tax requirements? And we'll take it from beyond that?
Yeah, whatever you'd like to ask, I'll throw it over to Mike and whatever council members have questions.
Well, I think Councilman Vera would like to begin with the debt sheet, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, I don't have the last year's numbers in front of me on here, but I was able to look them up. It seems like our debt is holding steady. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
So we've paid off as much debt this year as we've taken on? Because didn't we bond for, I feel like if I added up all of the bonding that's been approved by the council up until this point, it's got to be in the range of $20 million.
We issued 30 million in bands in 25.
30 million?
Yes.
And that's reflected on this sheet, or it isn't until they're
It is reflected on
okay.
that. That's the status as of, excuse me, as of October 10th.
Okay. And I suppose we could discuss this in more detail when we review garbage, but is that correct that the debt for the garbage fund has doubled?
I don't have last year's breakdown. I have it in total.
We'll
I can
handle,
get back to
we'll
you on that.
handle that when
Yeah.
we get to garbage.
And I,
Just, yeah, and as far as the bands issued in 25, a large majority is reimbursable. So roads, chips, so on and so forth. So just something to note. So that we're taking on long-term debt with those
Right,
issues.
yeah, as long as we follow through with those projects the way we're supposed to, we get
Correct.
reimbursed, right? The only other question I have would be on the following sheet, the tax rate. Taxes are going up 2.29%. What was the cap this year?
The percentage cap,
Yes.
I don't have the tax cap calc within, always far. Okay. Well, yeah, the overall cap, if in dollars and cents, I can't give you a percentage. I don't know what that works out to be, but when we account for the uncollectible school tax, the bid tax, and the increased taxes, or the increased taxable tax for excuse me, the properties that lose their exemptions during the year, which is about 40,000. So I think we had about 40,000 left in the cap when you take all those variables into account.
You mentioned something about the bid. I don't see that listed on here. Is that something that's anticipated?
No, it's in the calc. It'll be it's in that rate that's in the 16.21.
16.21 was last year's tax rate.
I'm sorry, in the 16.58.
Okay. Okay, can you get that to us though? Could you email that to us before the hearing tomorrow? in percentage, the percent tax cap. And then I suppose if you want to do the math on what that equals in dollars and cents. But you're saying right now, you think that we have $40,000 before we bust the tax cap?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's looking like the tax cap in not just one number.
Right, yeah, as I tried to explain, the calculation, I think it's, sorry, I didn't bring the calculation sheet with me, but you have to bring into account the uncollectible school tax and the bid the bid tax associated with the business district assessed values. And again, the properties that lose their exemptions all factors into that number. It's not as clear. It's not a clear cut number. It's very convoluted.
Well, if you could provide an explanation over email, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
And Mike, if you would send that to the entire council, that would be expected and appreciated.
Sure.
Is there anything else that you want to share on the summary of tax requirements page?
No, I believe the mayor outlined what the increase is going to be on the average home at 150,000, so on and so forth. So I think that's been covered. Minimal increase of about $460 a week, I think we came up with. Or a month, I'm sorry.
Do any council members have any questions on this page? Okay. Let's move on to the summary of revenues. We'll just cover the general ones, not the department specific. Do we have any particular questions from the council on any of these?
Council President.
Councilmember Vera?
Just the sales tax estimate.
Okay.
What does the county have to bring in for us to make 22 million on that line item?
I don't have, but it's basically a 3.5% increase, I believe, over the 25 budgeted number. I think the state's projecting about 3.7% increase for the year.
The state's projecting a 3
I believe a 3.7 if I read that correctly. It's based on a 3% inflation rate, an increase in GDP of about 2%. So that might be, hopefully they'll come in a little heavier than 3.5.
So based on the current estimates of sales tax for this year, you believe we're on track to take in 21.25?
I do.
Okay. But you don't know how much the county has to take in order for us to hit that number?
No, but it's a formula of like 16.5% of the first 80 million, and then then another 9.7 on that over and above the 80. It's a.
Could you get that to us too, along with the tax?
What the
figures?
I can get you the formula.
Yeah, well, I think I know the formula. I think it's 19.65% for the first 80 million and then 9% thereafter. That's why when I do the math on this figure, I'm getting the county has to take in $150 million for us to hit 22 million. That's a big increase from where we're at today. That's not a 3.7% increase. But if you could just confirm, what numbers you're using to predict.
I don't know what you're factoring, but
yeah,
you basically want, I'm sorry.
I want the figure, how much sales tax the county has to take in order for us to get to 22 million.
And that number comes in like March.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't understand.
To reach the current year's budgeted number.
Right.
Is that what you're,
I mean, once you give, yeah,
Your
once you do the math, I can do it for any year, but for the estimated 26 budget is what
oh,
I'm
for the
asking.
20?
And I do think that it's worth noting too, if you go back not just what's here, but, and I think Mike might have said it, but you apologize for my voice, I don't sinuses, but, I mean, the trend does continue to go up like we're seeing here. So that as well, we'll get that answer to you, Councilman Vera. But I think it's worth noting even past what the budget's showing you here back to 2024, you do see that trend of that increase of that sales tax revenue that is coming in for some of the reasons that Mike did noted, those percentage increases. So I just think that's worth noting.
Oh, that's all. So
Okay.
you don't want to go through departmental.
No, we're not
Okay,
doing
yeah.
departmental stuff at this.
So is this one departmental, intergovernmental charges?
We can do the general government. I mean, that's, treasurer, comptroller falls under finance, civil service.
Council President,
Councilmember McLaren.
under the intergovernmental charges, the sale of electrical power. Actual receipts in 2023 and 2024 were 0.
Correct.
So we're still estimating 500,000.
That's correct. The reason being the reduction in the actual expenditures. So the credits that we receive from National Grid are applied towards the billing. And so the credit shows up as a reduction in an expenditure. So we'll never actually take monies in, so we can't record a revenue. We record a reduction in an expenditure line as we receive it.
Okay, but it's listed under revenues. So is
Correct.
that, okay. Okay, thank you.
Council President,
Councilmember Brosnan.
do you know how much we, do you have the figure for how much money we didn't spend this year for the power, the electrical
I
sales?
don't have that at my fingertips, so
Awkward.
how much credit we had applied towards.
Yeah, it's a better way.
And another, just to jump in, I think that it's worth noting here, council member too, that the credits currently are, up to somewhere around 1.5 million. It is really a kind of a complex way that they get posted and everything. We can definitely get you that number too, but the reason I'm making that point is that the 500,000, you could argue that it is even a little conservative. You could possibly place more credits on, which if we can, we will, but it's kind of a constant effort when the bill comes in. It's a bit of an archaic system, and we've worked with National Grid to try to work through it. We're putting a big focus on trying to sift through some of the credits to see if we can get even more, but that 500 you could argue is even a little bit of a conservative number, but we'll get that exact credit amount too, like you requested.
Thank you.
Council President.
Councilmember McLaren.
So is this line item an actual account that,
Back to the electrical power.
yeah,
Is it an actual account? Well, there's, as you would imagine, there's several dozens, I'm assuming, accounts with National Grid
right.
that the city of Troy holds. So
So
they-
this account actually has $0 in it, but it's the.
no,
credit
there is a statement that's produced that shows where the credits, what the level we're at the current. I think the latest was, as Seamus stated, I think it was 1.5 or 1.6 million. So,
Okay.
but it's not cash. No, it's just a credit that Grid is
Okay.
from the sale of our excessive solar power generation that
Okay.
goes back to the grid.
Thank you.
We would prefer a check.
Yes.
They make it, I think, complex. I'll leave it at that.
Do we want to go through the departmental income? Why don't you just run us through and explain the variance from year to year?
So we've got so the treasurer's fees looks like in the variance is actually a reduction from the prior year based on trend. So we actually a very conservative number there. Controller's fees, again, another reduction based on trends, trying to looking back 2-3 years and how it performs. Corporation counsel, again, another reduction in the revenue estimates. Assessor fees. Looks like we're holding steady. Tried to be conservative on most of these revenue streams. And what's left? Clerk's fees, slight increase of $1,000. Oh, and the host community agreements. Sorry. So we're based again on trend.
Would
We're
you
reducing that
explain,
by-
would you explain that line item?
It's I guess the best, and it's new to me as well. I said I don't know if it's new to you, but
Yes,
it's
obviously.
a it's similar to a pilot where in lieu of paying or just in paying fees in general, each agreement has its own little nuance. I don't know, it's more of a legal thing, but it's a contract between the oh, there we go. Thank you, Rick.
You just couldn't stay awake, could you?
He's putting his budget in.
So you're all familiar, I think, pilot agreements, and those are payments in lieu of taxes. Host community agreements is, as Mike said, another species of agreement whereby a developer or someone who gets a project, who gets a pilot, also pays a set schedule of fees for city services, in lieu of city services, in lieu of any direct assessment of city services. So for example, for use of police and fire, the increased costs that it can cause the city to have a 200-unit apartment complex or something like that, for someone who also gets a pilot. It's just an additional fee. I don't know how it's calculated. I'm not sure that it's rationally calculated, but it is, what the market will bear. And it is a schedule that increases over time. So for example, the Lion Factory in North Troy, which some of you may be familiar with, has an HCA as well as a pilot agreement. Does that answer your question?
Council President.
Councilman Vera.
Thanks. Now I have a question.
I'll bet you do.
So that's negotiated between the developer and the city? Or is that negotiated between,
It's usually
the
negotiated
IDA?
between the IDA and the developer.
so it's
or
part
the-
of- it's
or the
part-
LDC, whoever's granting the pilot.
okay, but so it's not something the city negotiates. These are not mitigation fees. These are fees negotiated during a pilot negotiation.
These are not direct mitigation fees that we've been kicking around.
And if I may, I'll just jump in. It is something we do plan to undertake, Councilman Vera, next year, a GEIS, similar to other municipalities like Half Moon. Colony has one when development does happen to try mitigation fees, whether it be sidewalks, something even in kind that would be calculated. But saying that, we do plan, and you'll see in the capital plan when we get to the capital plan committee meeting, a GEIS undertaking. Because we have to do that to then try to get mitigation fees for some of these development projects.
Okay, I guess we're moving on.
And once again, many of these will go through in the appropriate committee meeting. But if there is a generic one, or yes.
Oh, okay.
To go into the comptroller's
Yeah, I
office
think it's
or
about- yeah,
city council's first, actually, so it's on you.
okay.
And actually, Council President, we could get Sharon, just, she's been waiting, if you don't mind hitting
I
the
didn't see-
assessor.
I didn't
That'd
see
be
her back
great.
there. Yeah,
Perfect.
Let's start. with
Just
the
to get
assessor.
Sharon, and then, we'll hit your office, if you don't mind.
What? The mic? Okay, that's page 48, is that correct?
45.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was.
40.
reading right to- Yeah, yeah.
All right,
46.
we'll start with 45 and move on. Aaron likes to jump right to
Yeah, I
the
was-
meat of it.
yeah.
Do you want to walk us through this, Sharon? Any significant changes on 45 for us to, or should we just jump right into 46?
I think we should just jump right in.
I think so too.
We need a tissue.
Council President.
Councilman Vera?
I see a line item for commercial appraisals. What's paid for under that line item?
So when we have a tax cert, and we need a trial ready appraisal, that's what we use that for. Also, when there's a pilot negotiation going on and they want to know what the assessment will be when the project is done,
Mhm.
I also use them for that.
So it's an outside consultant?
Correct.
Okay. And am I reading that correctly, that you haven't made much use of that line item for the first 6 months of this year? Is that
That's correct.
Okay.
Council President, or are you done?
No. Are you done?
I am now, yeah.
Okay. Councilmember McLaren?
So then in the estimate of the last 6 months, it's an exact match. So so is the recommendation for 30,000 a high recommendation, or?
No, because you don't know what's going to go to court and what isn't going to go to court. So, an estimate may cost between $700 and $1,000. But if we need a trial ready, depending on the complexity of the property, it could be between 10 and 20,000.
Okay.
So we currently have at least 10 tax certs. A good example would be Rite Aid, because they closed.
Right.
So we try to negotiate something with them, something in the middle. But if we can't, then we would have to pay for an appraisal.
Okay.
There's other large commercial projects that we'll file just to see, if they can get a reduction. And when we can get a regular appraisal, which could be $8,000. But if we need a trial ready and we need him to testify at court, it gets more costly.
Okay. So perhaps the estimate is what's low.
Correct.
Okay, so that actually brings me to a question I had, and I don't think this is specifically you, Sharon, but throughout this budget, the current encumbrances, those two line items, first six and last six, are identical in every, which has not been the case before. So I'm just wondering if there's a reason for that?
So, thank you for bringing that up. So so the first 6 month numbers are accurate. And normally what they would do is they would subtract from the current budget to show the remainder of that. And it looks like what actually ended up happening was that those first 6 month ones were duplicated in that other line. So that will be a correction that gets made, but the first 6 months are accurate. Those would then come off of the current budget. So normally if you saw the first 6 months, $2,000 spent in the budget of 4,000, there'd be 2,000 remaining, or those off numbers. So the first 6 month column is still accurate to show you what's been spent in those 6 months. But there was an error in this print where it did duplicate that in the last 6 month amount,
Okay.
estimated last.
So when
6
it's
months.
corrected, we'll see those two numbers be much closer to what the recommended amount in that line is.
Correct. Well, yes, you would see that.
Okay.
I mean, since we were on the commercial appraisals, and Sharon's point's not wrong. I mean, the 1,600 is accurate. That's what has been spent
Right.
in those first 6 months. So that would be a line that you would still see a little bit larger left over compared to the budget.
Mhm.
What's remaining there, but it's just subtracting it off the total budget amount.
Okay.
Apology, meant to point that error out previously, but thank you.
Thank you.
Bringing it up.
Council President,
Councilman Brosnan.
for permanent salaries, when you calculate the first 6 months and estimated 6 months, and you subtract that from the 171,000 for the current budget, you get a loss of 14,672 in savings. Is that coming from the assessment clerk leaving? Is that where that savings is coming from?
Yes.
All right, thank you. A lot of math to ask that question.
I was trying to follow you.
So we move on to 48 or Sharon, do you want to explain the staff changes and so forth?
Sure. So currently we have 2 assessment clerks. And this year, for example, there was a job opening over in planning. And it would have been a promotion for one of my clerks, who I didn't want to lose, because in addition to knowing how the office runs, he also runs 4 different computer programs within my office. So noting that it needed to be changed. So we created a new position, a real property appraisal aid position, to entice someone who's been in my office for 3 years to remain in my office to keep the continuity going.
Council President.
Right. And I defunded one assessment
So
clerk.
we've eliminated one clerk and defunded one clerk. Okay.
And added a real property appraisal aid.
And added, right. Councilman Vera.
But now I got 2 questions. You did eliminate the position. Is the objection you're making the term eliminate the clerk?
There. It's just a word.
Well-
We're
not
funding it in the budget, but we're not eliminating.
That's why I'm asking, because it does have a minus
Says
one
minus
there.
one.
So you are eliminating the position.
Oh.
You're just creating another position, right?
Correct.
Okay. What was I now I'm lost track of the actual question. Oh, it's still a CSEA position, correct? Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Council President.
Councilmember McLaren.
So in the current salary line item, is that taking into account the CSEA raises? So they are
Yes.
currently earning that raise.
It's considering, yes, so it's the raise that kicked in this year effective July 1st, and then what the raise for next year would be, the percentage increase. This factors all of that in. The only one, just to point out, our hardworking assessor's not included in that because she is a member of UPSU and not CSCA, which is is next up on the docket. So to
Okay.
address.
But for the first 6 months, that was not the salary, right? What we approved in 2025 would have been the salary. So is that going to that doesn't throw numbers off?
Would you mind just asking that again? I want to see since we're reflecting the current salaries of two assessment clerk, is that?
Right. That doesn't match what was adopted in 2025's budget. So
Because it's reflecting the increases, is that?
okay.
I'm just trying to understand that.
That's
I think that this is reflecting, so when the current salary will reflect an adjustment that was made as well too. So since those salaries were back to July 1st, it's going to reflect those increased salaries. If I'm
Per the contract.
per the contract, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I do just want to point out too, I know the mayor had mentioned about strengthening a bench. Thank you, Sharon, for making this proposal for the staff member in there to the real property appraisal aid. Sharon is definitely one of the handful of folks here that do their job great, but are everyone does their job great. I can see that. Don't take that, WAMC. But what I mean is kind of been the single person that holds that the key to all the information and the data in that office. So it's very crucial to have a backup person like that. So thank you, Sharon.
Councilmember Brosnan.
Yeah, Sharon, do you have any concerns with the budget for going forward into 2026? Or is this going to be ample for you to get your job done?
This will be ample to get my job done, but as the city assessor, it's my duty every year to remind you all that we need to think about reassessment, that terrible word. Our E-grade is at 58.4 for 2025. I would guess at 2026, it'll be about 50. So which means that our assessments are at half of what they really should be if everything was equal. So I'm just putting it out there. It's not in my budget, but that's my duty to tell you that we need to do a citywide assessment, reassessment. You're welcome.
Council President,
Councilmember Vera.
ballpark, what's the cost of that?
Between 250 and 300,000.
I asked that last year.
Could be, I don't know.
Probably because you reminded us last year.
I remind you every year. That's my job.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
We just continue on.
Just go through.
Yeah. Let's just continue on with city clerk as we're in. If that's all right with everyone. Any questions from any council members?
Council President.
Councilmember Farah?
I'm directing this to Maria, correct? Yes, okay. The 125,000 for consulting services, no change from last year. Has there been any change? Like, you were using that money for, I mean, it was animals, right?
Yeah,
what-
take care of our shelter.
Right. So is that's still being paid for then?
Oh, yeah. Yep, we actually saved money. We are saving money doing that this way. Of course, it's not a perfect situation. I have great ideas, assuming we stay here going into next year, to be completely honest. You know, it was a big take on that this entire administration took on, especially my office and I and the employees down at DPW and Joe Maz. So yeah, we're doing our best with it. We're actually going to apply to get a grant, hopefully to help us with the facility even more, and with our back, with the oh my gosh, the field that's in the back of DPW. We're gonna try to do some, fixes there. If we can get this grant, it would be really great. So.
But so that line item, that's not just for fees to, what are the, you'd have to remind me the shelters we're using now. We're using Saratoga.
Yep, we have Saratoga, and sometimes Out of the Pits helps us, every once in a while. And, yeah, Saratoga mainly though. So yes, all of those fees go to there. If, the dogs need food, if we need cleaning things, if they have to go to the vet, all of that comes out of there.
Oh, so even the funding for our facility comes out of that line item.
Yeah, if we have to, I mean, there's not really like funding, like mainly it's like food.
Okay.
That's mainly what we really buy. They don't, they need toys and food and
Oh, I know.
treats
how it
and,
works, yeah.
yeah.
Did anyone have anything they wanted to add regarding the city clerk's budget?
Council President,
Councilmember McLaren.
I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the animals that you're helping.
Trying our best.
Council President,
Thank you.
Councilman Brosnan.
you feel like this is ample to get you through 2026?
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
I'd be even better if we get the grant too. That'd be awesome.
How much is the grant for?
It totally depends. There's like a match situation, so we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, let's move back to.
Council President, if I could, on behalf of all of us, this was just an incredible undertaking when the Humane Society, as you know, we had the contract last year. We were, caught off guard, obviously, and what Maria, Shame, the administration, Joe, DPW, our streets, our quality of life, public utilities, putting the line in, Kevin McDonough above and beyond. The folks, we have part-time folks now at the shelter. We've now moved the shelter from the back garage to the front garage across from traffic. And what we have done in-house is truly remarkable to see it grow. And we learn every day. Obviously, it's uncharted waters. And we just have a phenomenal staff who have really picked up the ball. Maria, you and your staff, and you've become so passionate about it, and we thank you.
Indeed. Okay, I think we ought to move back to the city council on page 23, is it?
2.
And I noticed, under the neighborhood line, it should we only budget 10,000 for that, correct?
We always budget that because we get the other 10,000 from yes. And if you're noticing that not all the money gets spent, it's because not everybody actually does their projects.
Right,
Which
right.
is definitely something you should think of going into next year. Because it's a lot of work for people that don't do their projects.
And your consultant is Bonadio, the auditor, so.
Right.
Council President.
Councilman Rivera.
So I understand the 10 and how we get the 20, the current budget, right? Because the CRC gave us an additional 10. We revised the budget, accepting that to make it 20. See, Maria, you're saying only 5,700 has been spent to date out of the 20, that's out of the 20,000, not
Mhm.
out of the 10,
Yes,
out of 20,000.
I have, and I don't know how some of this works, but I put out purchase orders. So there's a process, right? When you go to pay bills, and I have purchase orders for like, let's say 10 places for people to go to get their supplies, whatever. And again, I don't know if that number includes my purchase orders. I don't think it does. Maybe Gab will know that better. I don't think it does. Yeah. But basically just like orders. Like, let's say somebody wants to spend $1,000 at X place. So I tell them it's okay to spend it and, nothing happens. So. There are people that go and do them, but a good amount of them do not.
What's the other consultant services line item on there? The other 10,000, no, the 10. Bonadio is the 85, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. 10,000.
Let me see. Yeah. So back in 23, old council members wanted to put something in the budget for the council. And that's what it is. For what? Maybe for the code, something with, we have to do like code online to put our code online. There's things that have to do with like over in planning. I'm forgetting my words right now.
It's an E-code, it's an E-code update.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it called? Not the charter.
It's our
Eco.
code.
It's
That
eco.
code,
Yeah.
zoning, all.
Zoning.
it's-
Zoning. Yeah, to update the zoning. Yeah.
But nothing was spent out of it this year? Rick, if you know, if you know more, share it, please.
Don't know any.
Yes. 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 Do
You're so.
you want me to say that?
Are we talking about the 26
We're
proposed?
talking about
budget
two
here?
different things. I guess,
Okay.
I still want to know why 10,000's in the budget on our budget for a 409 line item. And if it is to pay for E-code, I thought that came out of your budget.
Well, that's been a matter of a sore point for a while, okay? You write the laws and,
Yeah.
you pass the ordinances and I really
Yeah,
think.
and you update E-code.
And I just
I update.
I just provide it to the clerk and I hope that it gets updated, but she has apparently some access to my budget and spends my money on it, which I wasn't aware of until she told me.
I
And
inherited that,
okay,
Richard.
so it's a long history of misuse.
Okay, so is it, to your knowledge, though, that is for E-code, is that
To
an
the-
annual
To the
fee?
best of my knowledge,
Okay,
it
okay.
is for E-code. I am certain there are annual charges as well as special update fees.
Okay,
I mean, the zoning ordinance still has not been uploaded to E-code.
so
Okay.
yes, what I was going to ask is if we have not spent any of that money this year, if that could be done. Because
would
I know
be-
that causes great confusion for people. It's actually,
It does
I was
cause,
watching a planning board meeting the other day and it seemed to cause confusion with the board members. They had gone on to E-code and looked up the old version of the code and they thought that was current as opposed
I
to.
don't know, was I at that
the
meeting?
actual-
'Cause
You
I
were
don't
at the
remember
meeting
that.
and
don't
I
remember
could
them.
tell you wanted to jump in and explain that, but didn't. So if, you know, if we, I mean, that's going on 2 years old now.
I think it is a goal this year to get that
Okay.
updated, but first there'll be some amendments. So.
And that's fine. We can
Okay.
get the code as it exists today on there and make amendments to it. Yeah.
I don't know why that's in our budget. It makes
Mm.
no sense. Right?
What?
It makes no sense in our budget.
No.
Did you have a question, Councilmember Brosnan? No. Anyone else? Okay, we're moving on. There are no changes to the staff, so the next one is you, Mayor.
You can see status quo on page 28. If you go through it, once again, obviously the money spent to date are in the left-hand side. And then you'll see in our staff, page 30, you are, and to be fully upfront here, you're going to see a 700 and some odd dollar change of the deputy mayor. When Seamus was hired, he was hired for 100. It was incorrectly printed, so you're going to see $734 for 100 because he was hired at 100. And he did not receive those monies last year or this year, but I made sure that he is getting his full 100. So it's $734.
Councilmember Brosnan.
Adding the first 6 months and the estimated 6 months and subtracting that from the current budget, we are over budget by $4,032.10 on permanent salaries.
You
The
can't do
entire budget was misprinted. That second column is wrong.
The second column, yeah,
Together.
Right, but
yeah. Just,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
there.
just, delete that second column. Yeah.
The first 6 months would be deducted from the current. So if you want to put the number in, that's all it would do normally. It's just that it
That's-
duplicated that number.
$2,016.05 over budget.
I get your point.
Yeah,
If you're spending it at that clip.
yeah, it's just dividing that by 2 then. That's how I got that number. So that's. I believe.
Councilman, what are you talking about? Are you going to the end of the expenditures page? I just. wanna-
No, I went to permanent salaries, item project 101.
Okay,
You take $364,000 and $364,266. You subtract it by the 184,000. And then you're still 4,000 over your budget, or 2,000 over your budget.
I get what you're saying. Do you mind if I?
Yeah, if you could work.
I think what the council member is saying is if you spend 184,000 in the first 6 months and it's for salaries, you'd expect to spend that exact same amount of
no,
money for the next 6 months.
yeah, no, I
Right.
get. I get the point that you're making. I'm trying to think of
It's got nothing to do with.
Where the-
misprint, Right.
where the 2000 is.
Yeah,
frankly.
I'm not
That's
trying to
yeah.
belittle you guys. I'm just trying to
No,
make sure my point's getting over.
I understand the question. clothing's not part of salaries, Council President. So we can look into that and follow up with you if that's okay, Council.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
We also do a cleanup transfer at the end of the year. So if that were the case, we would transfer funds into that line if needed.
Well, we'll deal with that when we figure out what's going on. Yeah, follow-up question. Are we gonna get a new set that would actually help us?
Not of the
Yes.
proposed. The final budget will show it accurately.
I don't know how to reword that.
Basically, you have to do the calculations on every line.
Yeah, I'm asking, are we gonna get one that's useful instead of this? Because this is not very useful. As it currently sits, I'm gonna sit here with my calculator and do everything when I'd imagine this is some kind of Excel or something where you could generate it in minutes.
It actually, it definitely doesn't get generated in minutes. It's not in Excel. It takes various sources of data, feeds it through another system, formats it, then it gets put together in-house, and then it goes out to a printer to get printed. But can definitely look in an adjusted version for you, so you don't have to do real-time math. So we'll follow up with you there.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not yet. You gotta look past the first line.
I'm assuming the consultant services is reflecting the exit of BST and Pronexus and all of those folks.
Mike is going to talk about that when he gets to the comptroller, but yes, BST is being used on an extremely limited basis. They were the only consultants on board. And other than a phone call here and there, BST.
So that's, this consultant line is BST, is that correct?
What
In the mayor's office?
Oh,
I'm already on controller.
you with
I
the-
moved ahead.
you're on
I
the
moved ahead.
comptroller, yeah.
In my mind.
You.
I'm moving on.
I'm like,
Quickly.
wait a minute.
Sorry.
I have a
So sorry.
consultant.
Trying to move this along here, folks, sorry. They turned too many pages. Are we ready to move to the controller?
Yeah, I moved along. with
Now
it.
we're ready to move to the controller, apparently. And I'll repeat my question, Mike.
Okay.
That the consultant 409 is indeed
The big
reflecting
reduction.
BST and,
As far as that, yeah, them stepping away, yes, correct.
thank you.
Council President.
Councilman Vera?
I mean, we got a, relatively large jump in salary, right? Prior year encumbrance, that would be 24. Is that correct? That first column? I'm on sheet 32 still.
32.
That first column, that the prior year encumbrance, that's what was spent when the books were closed for 24, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, right. So between 24 and now, it's almost $300,000 jump in permanent salaries in the comptroller's office, right? So that savings in consulting services is, you want to go through the staffing changes for the
Sure.
Yeah. And if I could jump in before Mike goes, as I mentioned in my statement, we are building a bench. We cannot, for future years, you know, if Mike, eventually he's going to retire, we need that bench. But I'll let Mike talk about the office, Gabrielle also, and that bench is super important because we cannot be left like we were left at the end of 2023. In addition, the antiquated system, the paper timesheets, the KVS, everything is getting overhauled, and we're thinking differently how to run government. And we can't just keep putting the circle in a circle, X and X. We really have to start thinking out of the box and prepare and build that foundation. So I'll let Mike take it from there.
Thank you, Mayor. So the gist of this large increase is obviously the increase in my salary from 24 when you're looking at that number. So I don't know what that,
I think it was 103,000.
you
but
might be correct.
You
And
don't
then,
need to, you don't need to justify that one.
no, and then we're hoping to add a deputy controller position. That's 90,000.
Okay, so the deputy comptroller is, it shows up on here as a new position, but it actually wasn't an,
We've had it before.
yeah, but it wasn't a new position because it was in last year's budget. It was just budgeted at $0.
I'm sorry.
Right, but so we're funding, going back to the mayor's point of whether we were actually eliminating or defunding. The deputy comptroller was defunded last year, but not eliminated.
That's correct.
Right. Which, just a quick aside, this budget doesn't have the summary of positions created and eliminated at the end of it, like previous years does, unless I missed it. It's entirely possible I missed it. But even with, you know, going through this before tonight, I noticed a couple of discrepancies like this, where we're saying we're creating a position, but we're really not. It was in the budget previously. And then some which are clearly new and we're not counting them as new. So I don't know if when we reprint the budget correctly, we could get that information as well.
It's it.
But go ahead
And it was zeros in the number of positions last year.
yeah, last year's budget said 10 positions for this department. You're starting at 11 with this print. So somehow we gained a position that wasn't shown. And then you're adding one to 12, but maybe you aren't. I don't. It needs to be looked at. It's the bottom line.
To your question about the increase, you just noted there as well, it wasn't, the deputy comptroller wasn't funded there before. So that's now it's funded. So that's gonna add towards that increase in total salaries. If I'm understanding.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with funding a position.
Well, but you're
whatever.
talking about that there's a difference in positions and you're unclear of what position might have got added or unadded. I'm just trying to tell why you can't.
Because on last
Why you're
year's
not
budget,
figuring
deputy
out out there.
comptroller was not shown as it wasn't shown as being eliminated.
It was
I guess-
shown as
But there's a
zeros.
difference between the position being still being in the budget, but not being funded or not being funded all the way. Like there's, salary savings,
Okay,
deferred of
well,
hire.
the comment then still stands with the chief account clerk and the director of finance and human resources. Right? Because the director is certainly a new role. That's a new position, and the chief
Correct.
account clerk is being defunded. So
But it still remains a title in the department. I think so. Really, you're netting an increase of a position, which is the director of finance and human resources.
but that's not
So-
what the table says.
It's
So
It's
the,
talking about adding a position.
Yeah.
I guess it-
Councilmember McLaren.
Well, but you're going
No.
from 11 to 12. I just think,
but the deputy
one-
comptroller position in last year's budget was zeros, so it didn't count in the count.
correct.
Right, but here
So
you've
the-
got the chief account clerk are zeros, but you have 1 and 1.
Okay, so to provide, I'm just trying to provide the most clarity here for you all as possible, is that what you're seeing is that it's an increase of the one, it's an increase of the one position, which is, although the chief account clerk is funded out at zero this year and the deputy comptroller is funded, the only new position and title being added to the department is the director of finance and human resources.
So why
Although
doesn't
the
it
chief
have one or
account,
the other
although
column?
the chief account clerk is not being funded, it's a position still in the department.
But that one didn't exist in 2025 and there's a 1 there. Next to the director of finance and human resources.
In 2025, okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to find. An account, although deputy comptroller was in there, it was counted as a zero with it being zero funded. So that's where, in my head, I'm thinking that's the only new position, the director of finance and human resources, but I see what you're saying in that column now.
So that should
Thank
be a
you.
0 and a 1, right?
Mhm.
And then a +1 in the,
Correct.
okay.
Thank you.
Council President.
No, but
Councilmember Brosnan.
All right, I'm gonna ask about permanent salaries again. We spent $304,164.19 in the first 6 months. If you subtract that from half of the year balance, you have a savings of $43,332.31. Is that from not having the comptroller for a significant period of time?
Which line are we looking at?
That's permanent salaries, first 6 months minus half of the current budget. There's a significant savings there, which I'm not complaining. I'm happy we have a savings. Don't get me wrong, just I'd like to know where it's coming from. I'm happy to have it.
I think I can answer that. So throughout the year, there's changes in personnel and there's steps depending on how many years of service you have. So don't quote me because I don't know this is exactly what happened, but I think we took an employee from one office, moved them into a vacancy that was in this office. They had less years than someone that had vacated the position prior. So it was budgeted at a higher rate than what they came in at. So there's savings in salaries. That's how we see salary savings.
So would you say there was multiple positions filled that way?
Oh, it happens all the time, yeah.
All right.
In all, yeah.
Okay. It's just 43,000 is a lot of steps, I think.
So, yeah, we did have multiple
That's-
changes.
yeah.
We did, yeah.
Right.
Plus the lack of comptroller for.
We
Alright.
also have people retired.
Yeah, and vac-
Yeah, 2 people.
Thank you. Oh, temporary salaries, $10,000. Is that? We spent 3,000 for 6 months.
That's all thinking.
Is that person continuing to work with us?
That's bringing in some folks that had retired to aid in the
Mhm.
Like Nancy.
I do recall, Nancy.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, we did talk about that. All right, thank you.
Councilman Vera.
Salary savings. What's being deferred?
The deputy comptroller position is being deferred to July, And then there-
7-1 start.
correct? And then there's a step increase for one of the positions, the payroll technician, that will be effective in September. So the budgeted salary amount will only be received the last 4 months.
So that's the line item, 64,435.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep,
So one step and then, one deferred hire.
that's correct.
Council President.
Councilman Rivera.
Do you
No,
feel-
Councilman Brosnan. Are
Sorry.
you done?
I know.
I was gonna say, I was trying to ask if he was done.
Well, when you give me
You're-
the opportunity, I'm gonna speak. I know Councilmember Rivera has a couple more questions, I'm sure.
I don't actually.
I don't believe you.
He may after yours.
Mike, do you think that this is gonna be an ample budget for your 2026 year? Do you see anything?
No, I think it's gonna, yeah, the deputy controller is gonna be key to not only my office, but to the entire city of Troy as far as keeping operations and going concerned. Really need a succession plan. Don't want to be in the position, you know, where I step aside or God forbid, I get hit by a bus or something and you don't have anybody to pick up the pieces. It's a position that is you're looking at 12 different funds within your financials. We have currently, and this needs consolidation, but there's currently over 700 balance sheet accounts that need reconciling, 200 cash GL account codes. It's been, years and years of processes that just never got unwound. We have 50 plus bank accounts that need constant reconciliations, obviously. Numerous, I don't know the exact number of the capital projects, but the process on the set of books that are currently in place, that have been in place for decades, I'd like to revamp completely. Consolidate these cash account codes. There shouldn't be 200 cash account codes. I mean, any given fund should have but a few in total. Even with several bank accounts, you would combine them into. But anyway, with this deputy controller position, I think we'll truly have a valid succession plan. As I say, if you want success, you need a succession plan. Will aid in the reconciliation processes, maintain the appropriate supporting schedules to the balance sheet that are necessary for your financials reporting, re-engineer some workflows that have, again, processes have been in place for a long time that I got some ideas, make some changes on the front end. We have as the mayor stated, this KVS system is from the 80s, I believe someone told me. As we transition to the Tyler Technologies, that's a heavy lift. So we got to have our books tied down tight before we make that move. Implement your new the use of new technology that's coming down the pike as well. So much comes across the desk right now that I can't manage anything. It's just trying to put out fires every day. So this, I feel, will get us in the position where we're preventing fires instead of putting them out all day.
I like that. Do you have anyone in mind for deputy comptroller? I know you've come from a few places.
Yeah, I definitely do have some. I don't know if they'd move from where they're at, but yeah, no, I definitely have my eye on a couple.
That's very good to hear. I appreciate you doing everything you've done.
Yeah, no, I
Keep
would, no,
on.
I try to do everything as I left any place I've been employed. I tried to leave a backup plan or a succession plan in place before I venture on. So,
Okay. Just do me a favor, look both ways before you're crossing the street.
yeah.
We gotta keep you.
Yeah, no, this office is this is a position that, number one goal is protect the assets of the city, limit the exposure, and produce sound financials and reports for the council as well. So it's pretty tough to do that right now, to keep on these timeframes that, like, again, it's a buzzsaw in there right now.
Get you some help.
Mike, if you're making quite a case for the importance of the deputy controller. Is it realistic to wait until July for that? Or would you rather see this?
I think so. I think I need to get it, a firm hold of the processes here. Might be just wasting the time of the new deputy if I brought him in today, because I don't know the full gambit here. There's a lot to learn. So I need to get a firm hold of the processes before. I typically don't want to change. I'm tempted to change processes, but I've learned years ago to step back and learn the processes that you currently have in place, because sometimes you try to unwind stuff that you don't fully understand, you create a bigger mess. So
Okay, thanks. Councilman Rivera?
Yeah, along with some of the other documents requested, could you send over a job description for the Director of Finance? That new position?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We don't have any questions on that. Mike, was there anything else that you wanted to share regarding your department?
No, I believe I did cover everything I wish to anyway.
Okay, we need to go to. vital
Council
signs.
President, I just want to add that we really have a strong team behind Mike. And as I mentioned many times over the past year, before Mike came, year and a half, that, you know, the team really held it together and put some Band-Aids on what, as you can hear, Mike has overseen county budgets, other city budgets. And what I was told when we hired Mike from his prior boss is that, I'm with you, is that he's a fixer and he knows how to come in and not just fix processes, but departments, et cetera. So we are very, very fortunate to land Mike. But once again, Gabrielle holding it together for so many months, and the whole team at the comptroller and personnel department has just been phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to, I didn't want to make a reflection of anything on the staffing there. It's just my ignorance to the processes. I mean, Gabrielle, a top shelf, super job. I mean, I'd be lost if we didn't have Gabrielle around. She's really holding it all together, and I mean all together in that office. It's really been an incredible job in my eyes.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to the auditor's office. Next page is auditor.
Auditor was.
That-
Auditor next.
I know.
So back,
Where we go?
cash receipts, that's 38.
30.
Mike, is there anything here you'd like to point out to us?
Council President,
Councilmember President.
permanent salaries, we have a savings of, let me double check. $53,571, 23 cents for the first 6 months.
There were a couple vacancies in that office for a while. We filled them. It's fully staffed now, but that would be where the salary savings came from.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on cash receipts? We'll move on to contracts and procurement.
Council President,
Councilman Vera,
the consulting line item are we still, anticipating using, former city employees is that what that's for?
Yeah, so that is a retiree who returned.
Council President,
Councilmember Brosnan,
first 6 months, we have a permanent salary saving of $38,173 for 42 cents.
Yeah. So there are two positions in that office. One of them is vacant because we had an employee in that role who shifted over to another department early on in the year. And then we also had a retirement in the purchasing agent position, which is why you're seeing the funds in the consulting line
Thank you.
because she's still helping out.
Council President,
Councilman Vera,
I'm gonna skip ahead to page 44. Which one are we deferring, or are we deferring both?
So the senior account clerk position is going to be deferred until October.
10-1.
Yes. And just for your information, the purchasing agent, it's been posted. We are not getting many applications, but we have interviews, well, at least one interview set up for next week. So hopefully that's successful, and we can transition out the consultant that we're using right now.
To that point, and just off the top of your head, what are the educational requirements for that job? Does it require bachelor's?
Yes, it does. One of the levels, so there's 3 levels, bachelor's and 1 year of experience in a large commodity of purchasing.
Bachelor's plus a year. Okay.
Correct, yes. And then there are other levels under that, like associates and
Associate.
3 years and
Yeah.
correct, yes, yep.
Okay. Thank you.
There's also an equivalency statement. So if you have training and experience, it could equal the qualifications needed for the experience. Like if you have an education at a higher level, it could qualify you for the position without having the experience.
Thanks.
Council President,
Councilmember Brosnan.
do you think that the salary is the issue on why people aren't applying?
It could be, but it's a union position, so it's a grade I think it's a grade 20, which is one of the higher grades in the CSEA union.
No, I'm not in the CSEA, but I know in the IBW, if you're saying we're going to give someone more money, usually the union goes, yeah, that's cool. We could do that. So
Yeah,
maybe if that goes.
that would have to go through civil service, but of course, yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that could be looked at. Yeah.
Any others?
That's it.
Okay. Let's move on to personnel. you want to address the salary savings here?
Sure.
So I'm taking away from. Wow, I stole his question.
You didn't want to do the one with all the math? You didn't want to see that one? Weird.
He's trying to.
Ah. So the salary savings is from the personnel officer position that is being deferred until October.
I'm sorry, which
The-
one?
Personnel officer position that's funded is being deferred until October.
Council President,
Councilman Brosnan.
first 6 months of permanent salaries, we have a savings of $25,720.88.
Well, I don't know exactly what that is, but I can tell you what it probably makes up of. One of the personnel technician positions went to civil service to be reclassified to a senior personnel clerk, which is a lower grade position. So a lot of the salary savings is probably coming from that. There's also retirements that occurred in that office and which left vacancies. We recently filled one of the vacancies in that office and that's about it.
Any other questions?
Council. No.
Go for it. No, go for it. You had it.
Councilman Brosnan.
When I'm looking at the personnel summary, it doesn't reflect retirements. There's no change of anything. Is that
Summary.
they get replaced immediately? Or are we just budgeting as if someone is coming in and replacing them? I mean,
Yeah, so when we have a retirement, usually we look at the position and whether or not it's a promotional level position where someone that has more years of service might go into that title, and then we budget it accordingly. I mean, you can only guess what the future is going to be. So we do our best, but the current salaries will show a 0 in any of the positions that are vacant, if that helps.
Yep.
Councilman Bear.
Oh, yes, thank you. 409 consulting services.
Mhm.
Little bit of an increase, right?
Yeah.
30,000. What are those services used for?
Yeah, so for the risk management consultants, yes, we're
Didn't we used to
funding
have
it.
that in-house for a brief period of time? Or no?
Not necessarily risk management. We did have a safety coordinator
That's
for a
what- thank
period,
you.
yeah, which could fulfill that role, but
Just if I may, on the risk management and that you all approved here, we are looking to get they'll be in here actually the end of the month to kind of start their assessment. It's a huge thing for the city. Not only I think we can all agree that we want to make sure that this is a safe place for everybody to work, that there's proper protocols, but we're even since this administration's been in here trying to make it so there's more standardized practices across the board. Still making sure that our workers out in the field are wearing proper safety equipment. There's proper safety protocols across the board. We have folks dealing with chemicals to heavy equipment. So our insurance carrier as well really did like the fact that we were signing on with risk management. So it does give a host of benefits. It will bring another example of this administration bringing Troy kind of out of the dark ages, where a worker right out in the field can reference this right from their phone. So I get in a car accident. What do I do? It's who to call, who's this, and you know, even way more in depth than all that. So we can't wait to bring even further update to the council when that really gets up and going. But you know, a safe workplace should be a top priority for all of us. And it, you know, also will improve different efficiencies and limit liability. So that's a, you know, signing them up is a really great thing.
Gabrielle, where are we with the Kronos timekeeping project?
We are demoing it at the city in City Hall. We need to get more employees fingerprinted and start using it.
Do you have a timeline?
As soon as possible. Next year would be the goal for it to be up and running.
After you demo it at the city here,
Mhm.
is there a phase 2 or is it just gonna go full?
No, we will have to do it in phases. There's different contractual obligations that we have to meet for different types of employees, or I should say like hours of work are different, and there's, you know, there's things that have to be considered that will have to get programmed into the Kronos system at other locations.
Yeah, if I may jump in, if what Gabrielle's referring to too, of course, you know, we have folks that are in the middle of the night going out to do a water main break, working in garages, things like that. Firefighter, police, they're another great example. Everyone kind of has to be treated differently. So the thought was phase it in here in City Hall to have a group that volunteered to start you know, using their thumbprint or their fingerprint to go in. The next step will get everybody on board in here in City Hall, and then start phasing it out. The system does also support even just logging it out of a computer, which would bring us even again light years forward. You might see that be the approach outside of City Hall too, for more complicated departments like the fire department, Department of Public Works. But that's a huge goal for next year to get that to finally get that completed, where everybody's on Kronos and all those variants are worked out.
And that was all addressed during contract negotiations, so we don't have any issues there.
Correct. We did, if not in all the MOAs, I want to say there is a little language of that. We work together with the unions. All the unions have, you know, we know we're going to work with them through it. They're committed to work with us. We're committed to work with them on it as well. They know that it helps. You know, there's union members that process our archaic payroll currently. So, you know, it will benefit everybody. It really will.
Mayor, help me out. How many years have we been working on this?
Well, let's see, we've been talking about it since I was council president.
That's why I'm looping you in
But
here.
yeah, and I do appreciate that. Listen, it's critical. We have to make this happen. For me to see just piles of paper and, you know, paper timesheets, I just, even when I started in the Senate in the late 80s, we used the computer to check in. So this is critical. It's a huge priority. It was started by the prior. We picked it up last year. Then obviously our comptroller took a step back. We do plan next year, 2026, to really try to implement this, at least get to the point, like Seamus and Gabrielle, to the point where we're entering into a computer And like I said, to see timesheets come from the fire department in piles to our payroll and then see payroll actually have to input them. It is insane, the efficiency that is going to happen with this. So it's a priority as you know, once we say we're going to try to get it done, we do everything humanly possible to get it done.
I think it's been 4 or 5 years at least, if I correct.
Council
Um,
President,
Yes, Councilmember McLaren.
who is responsible for all of that programming when you, at all of the different locations? Is that an IT job or is that your?
So,
Chronos. Okay. It's logistics.
Oh, it is.
well, yeah, we use
Yes.
we work with the Kronos company
Okay.
and they come in and we go through our contracts and we
So you're not, we're
program
not,
everything with them. They do a lot of the actual programming. But yes, our IT department is also involved in the process.
so people who are, it's not an additional cost to the city to implement it. It's just a matter of manpower and
Correct.
the logistics of it. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I think auditor is our next one and our last. And that's page 35, 36. That's an easy one. A lot to consider here. That's us. Yeah. Any council
I have a question.
comments? Okay.
In the commentary here, it says, the auditor is appointed by and directly responsible to the city council. Can any one of us call the auditor and ask for documents, or does it have to be, does it have to come from you, council president, or how does that work?
You should be able to, yes.
Okay.
Whether you,
All council members have the right to request information from any city officer. So,
it's per the charter,
yeah, exactly. So
Thank you.
but you can ask for it. Any other questions? Any other comments? Well, I want to thank you all for coming tonight and for your answers, and we appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Council President, so I just want to point out does everybody's schedule say Wednesday, October 16th on it, just so there's.
It was fixed on the public notice.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Thursday.
Good. I just wanted to double check. We open.
No, we didn't. I'm sorry.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We never opened. No, not really. Katie wants to though.
Just in case. Make it official.
Whatever.
I'm gonna go.
They're sitting out in the.